Welcome to Thursday Night Hobby Talk with PSA Canada for June 8th, 2023. Kevin, you're back. How's it going?
I am. And Thursdays, I'm solo parent until 8, which is
Mm.
now. My wife went back to work this week. So she works Mondays and Thursdays at the moment. So this is my first time putting Nash to sleep by myself. And so far, so good. But I might be in and out for the first little bit.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
You
Luke.
look different, Kevin. Did you get a haircut?
I did not spike it. I have no time.
so not exactly. It's been styled differently.
Yes, it's not styled. This is the wake up and work look.
I get that every day too.
Nice. So how's it going this evening, Luke? How's this week been?
Oh, this week's been good. Actually, everything's sent off. I was pretty relaxed yesterday, and then the next I had no cards for anybody for about 18 hours. The next day, packages came in.
Fair enough. I like it.
So then you cracked that box of the cup, right?
No, 18 hours. I think I slept for about 16.
So we're getting are we getting the box break today? Then is what you're saying? You finished the task at hand. You said after you finished the task.
Yeah, but I don't know yet.
We're going for the 10. It's like, Brad, we're going for that 10. We're going straight for that 10.
Oh yeah.
All right. So real quick. So I know you. It's like you can stealthily, Brad, evade the first question here, but there are some other questions to directly pertaining. So hockey cardboards for. By the way, 7:33 a.m. this morning. That's some serious. That's more than 12 hours before we started. So like that's some serious business there. So Hockey Cardboard says, how's the Alex Manoah hashtag? I appreciate that he included the hashtag investment. Hashtag investment train going? Question. Number 2, additionally, any updates on the AMG new location? 3, how are the dollar bins for vintage looking at the current location? So there are 3 questions there. You may successfully evade one if that is your desire.
Okay. Long term, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, going great. Definitely some point in July. Still working. Things are flying along right now. So ventilation all got finished, which was a key thing, and electrical should be done in the next week and a half, and then we can start spraying the ceilings. And yeah, things are going really well. Dollar bins, massive success for AMG. I think we sold 5,200. We had to put out all whack of cards at $1 a card. I think we figured it out. We sold about 5,200 cards in a week at $1 a piece. So
okay, so 5,100 Mike Trout cards. Yes, go on.
Yeah, there you go. Massive success, but vintage right now, slim pickings. They really vintage, young guns, like a lot of that stuff got picked over. So we're working on another pile right now, and there's going to be a fair bit of vintage. When I use the term vintage, 70s, 80s, okay. Nothing really in the 50s, 60s. So.
Yeah, I don't think 50s, 60s would make it in dollar bin unless it's like basically torn in half.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that is a little bit tougher, but that's fair. All right, so thank you for the questions, Hockey Cardboard. 7:33 a.m. this morning. You were first off the block. Second, channel favorite, Hockey 99. Is the PSA June special going to be ran at the PSA Canada 3-week special? I would actually appreciate that. But I do have it on here, so I'll put it on the screen, and then if you want to talk through it, Brad, you can. So give me a second here. I will do that. Here you go. There's your special. I'll knock it off. So you want to run through it?
Yeah. So this just happened about less than 10 minutes ago. We made the decision what we were going to do. PSA really wanted us to run a special, so we're doing $27 a card is kind of the normal. I think I can see that lasting in through the summer. For max value $4.99, no limits. You can send in whatever you want, which works out well. That's a really good category, especially with the max value $4.99. I wanted to stay away from the max value $199 unless you were a dealer. That's something that I didn't really want to launch right now, but we're kind of forced into it. So I did make the minimum 40 cards though. So you have to have 40 cards to do that. And the max value is $199. And we are going to regulate. I wanted to talk to Kevin and Luke about that as well. When people submit, we really want to make sure people are submitting in the right category. We always do tell people to submit at the lowest level you're comfortable with from an insurance standpoint. But on this one, when you're going at the $199 level, we don't want to have the $2,000, $5,000 cards going through at that level. So we're really going to monitor that closely. So
Fair enough.
So that's her. So We're launched for 3 weeks according to Hockey 99.
Well, that's the June special, so basically the rest of the month. So
Right. And it might, I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, some things could change, but the $27 going forward is pretty standard, I think, now. So,
seems fair. All right, Jeff Jones here. Holy, is that Kevin? It is.
That is Kevin. Hey, Jeff.
All right, so let's go here. Yannick, good evening. Good evening, Paul. And John here is asking a question. This is a question for Brad, not a question for Luke, a question for Brad. When are you going to live that Justin Gamble lifestyle? How are we doing on that? Now, have you watched much Justin Gamble? I watch here and there. I get a kick out of the editing style, I'll put it that way, but it's very different. But how do you feel about the Justin Gamble lifestyle there, Brad?
honestly, I met them guys in Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, that's where the base is.
Ironic,
So
very
sense,
ironic,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
at the Mint Collective.
Okay.
Just talk for a second, but I think it's great. I absolutely love it. I think it's legit. I lived that lifestyle for about, I'm going to say 20 years. I was very similar to that. And I think, again, they are who they are. I think they're legit guys. I think they're real. I think they're having an absolute blast. They talk about their wins, their losses. They party like rock stars. I don't really know about the funding. I think maybe they have to be a little bit independent, wealthy, or.
So I want to add two pieces to it, but I want to finish getting your take on this, but I'll add a little piece to it. Go ahead.
I do. I love their initial song. It gets me pumped up. I thoroughly enjoy watching their content.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll say that I watch it because I do enjoy the vlogging style. I enjoy actually let's put it this way. I treat it as entertainment.
Yes.
And from that perspective, I think it fits in a rotation if that's what you're looking at as. The young guy Justin has another YouTube channel that is successful. So he's probably parlaying some of that to go along with it, and also I think the family is well off. So there's a lot of, let's put it this way, the funding is not the issue. Basically, I've been pitching Brad to basically fund me to live the Justin Gamble lifestyle. Like I'm trying, but I don't know if 3 a.m. oysters are going to get her done. But I'm willing to go to the bar and make it happen. I can do that part. That part I'm good at. But the thing is, I think as an entertainment thing, it's fine. I think if you don't take it too seriously, it's fine. That's really important. Don't try to take it seriously. I wouldn't do that. Just as an entertainment thing, though, it makes sense. And I understand why some people enjoy it and latch on. Because if you look at the view counts, they've steadily increased their subscriber count. Some people like it, and it fits. The only thing, though, and I will say this as a caveat, I think because I know that he's got another YouTube channel that is successful, and because I suspect that he's got some money with the family, it presents this idea. What they're doing with sports cards would not fund that lifestyle. So it creates kind of this illusion that, they're doing it because there is zero chance that he is making enough money on those cards, those deals he's doing, to actually be able to live and hop on a plane, go to this show. There's not enough money in it. The margins are not big enough to actually make that profitable. It's basically spending. It's like a early Mr. Beast thing. You're spending money to get clicks and views to increase the profile of the channel. And maybe as time goes on, the channel can pick up enough steam to be another revenue source. But in and of itself, if you just tried to do that, you'd be broke. But as an entertainment thing, I think it's fine. I can enjoy it from that perspective. Although a great drinking game meaning you'll die. You can have a very small shot every time he giggles. He giggles a lot over nothing. It's actually very impressive. I was like, there's literally nothing funny happening on the screen, and you've been giggling for the last 3 minutes nonstop. So I don't know what to tell you. But entertainment, yeah, I'd say so.
Because if you party like that in Las Vegas or New York, I remember one time, 3 of my buddies went to New York, and we had the biggest bar bill in the history for us. It was $27,700 for 4 of us for a night US, which at the time was like 40 grand Canadian. And we kind of blacked out. We've got a lot of pictures from the event, but let me say, it was interesting. But if you want to party like that in New York, like you said, Carlos, like that's not buying a round of shots for $40. That's buying a round of shots for $400.
Yeah.
That's buying a bottle for $1,500. Mm-hmm. Them guys they're rock stars right now. I think it's great.
So what you're saying is we're not going to get the Brad Gamble, party with Lou, Kevin, me, you, and Josie.
Yeah. That's awesome.
James here. Good evening. Absolutely. Jeff. Good evening. Yeah, I think, like I said, if you treat it as an entertainment thing, I think it's harmless. And if it's not your thing, don't watch it. But I think it's fine for what it is, but not all the time because, like I said, the giggling does get annoying for me a little bit. But I also do think it's almost like you have to put a warning on it and go. By the way, you realize that this channel is not funding itself. These deals do not fund this channel. He can't do this on the money he's making on those cards. There's not enough money there. There's other stuff feeding the beast, so to speak, from the background. That's where the funding is coming from. But hey, as long as you can get away with it, have fun, have a good time. Those guys are still young, so why not do it? All right. Anything else right now this past week that you guys want to touch on? I know, Brad, we were joking about it. You sent me some pictures. You went and did an excursion to get yourself a collection, did you?
Yeah, no, I was helping out a guy that I was going to go over and grade some cards for him, and then he ended up deciding he's battling cancer, and I don't think he has much time left. So I know that. So it was a very interesting day. And anyways, long story short, he decided against the whole process, and he wanted to sell everything. So we made a deal, and I bought the collection, and yeah, it was pretty exciting. It was good. So it turned in from a little bit of a grading adventure to see what was going to transpire, but we ended up buying the whole collection. So it was and paid him. He's extremely happy, and we'll move forward. Yeah.
I saw a lot of binders too and everything, so there'll be a lot of flipping through those things. Going old
Oh
school.
yeah, it was great. This is pretty cool. This is a PSA.
Okay.
Oh. There is 150 Joe Sakic rookies from vending cases. They all.
Wow.
So is this tops or this is the tops?
No, this is the OPG.
This is the OPG,
all
okay.
from vending cases. Like they are as crisp can be.
Do you remember though when Tops was the more expensive one for a little while? Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. In my lifetime, I have all the cards I've submitted, all the Sakic rookies. I have never gotten a PSA 10. So this is the last time, I swear. I'm going through 150 of these, and I'm going to pick out ones that I think. So I think there's probably going to be somewhere around 25, 30. And I'm sending them. And if I don't get a PSA 10 on one, I quit this card forever, for the rest of my life.
For folks in the chat, let's be interactive here for a second. How many did you say there were in that pile?
150.
Okay, so let's kind of play this little game. So first, I want to know how many you guys think Brad is going to assess as candidates. Let's do candidates first. How many you think out of the 150 he thinks are actually going to be grade worthy that he thinks can get a 10? And then put like a slash beside it. How many you think he'd actually get?
7
These are two different
and
numbers.
1.
7 and 1. Luke, thoughts?
I think Brad's gonna send them all in.
Lie to us and tell us I only sent in 5.
Brad's seen
think
some
he
of my.
I
I was going to say Brad's seen some of my submissions, and I've sent in 101 card at once.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Luke. You were saying?
I think I don't know, maybe 1. They're hard. They're
I know.
super hard.
They're pretty bad. They can chip, and they're also obviously centering is an issue. So there's a lot of little problems with that issue that can create a problem. Rod has got you'll send in 13 and get 0. Paul is 147 and 0. They have a lot of confidence in you, Brad. James here says I subbed 10 of my 22 vending and got 9s and 10s. Okay, gotcha, James. Yep. My guess is the Gamble boys are looking for fanatics to scoop them up. Isn't everybody? Good evening, Brandon. Isn't everyone though? Isn't everyone looking for fanatics to scoop them up? That's the thing. Look, I've been trying to get a scoop up my channel this whole time. Listen, if Fanatics comes in and scoops up my channel, I'll live the Justin Gamble lifestyle. I'll invite Brad. He can do a cameo. All right, Blaine here. He's so hopeful he'll send them all, but only one Holy Grail 10 will come back and become the centerpiece of the new AMG. So they've got this 150/1.
I enjoy that. I like that. That's better than I've ever done in the past on those damn cards.
Yeah.
I've only got one of them come back for a customer.
Yeah. Rod says it's not a lack of confidence in Brad, it's that the 80s OPG is gritty. I agree, but remember, part of this equation, we picked 2 numbers. If you're being super picky and you see that it's problematic, you could just send 0. You could say, look, I've assessed them, they're not worthy. I can't. Like, it would just be a waste of my time, waste of my money. I'm not going to do it. Just because you went through a pile of 150 doesn't mean they're 150 good ones. Sometimes it's like, if it's not there, it's not there. You want to try to force it? Go ahead.
It's funny. Like this guy collected all like really through the 80s and then he stopped. He finished in 1991. He stopped
Mhm.
collecting. But there's just so many memories. Like I now am the owner of 300, no exaggeration, 300 Darren Pupa 8990 OPG rookies.
That is 300 more than anyone in human history has ever owned, including the people that manufactured it. James says the Lemieux way worse. I got 6s on 10. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha, James. Andrew here says 20 submitted and 5 gems. He's giving
See,
you
that's
5
my
gems.
guy right there. That's Andrew. See,
That'd be
He got faith
25%.
in me.
That'd be 25%. Jeff says you're sending 15, so 10% of the stack and get 1.
So yeah, old Paul over there giving me the big Enrod zeros.
147/0.
That's good.
Brad. What are we gonna do? Thankfully, there's a
Yeah.
special. That'll at least help you. That's your only hope.
I
Oh
know.
boy, my goodness. I don't know. So for the most part, I gotta be honest. There hasn't been too much craziness. I don't think news wise. There's been some minor stuff, but I was kind of looking at it and go like, I don't even want to touch that. I'm leaving that alone to let other people debate that piece. Can't help you there. Anything interesting going on? Obviously, you've got the AMG renovations happening. We talked about that already. You got that going on right now. There is a little bit of quiet time as far as shows are concerned, giving you guys a chance to catch up and everything. Anything in particular you're looking forward to in the next little while?
From my standpoint, and then you guys can take a crack. I think that's going well. Obviously, my partnership with PSA just keeps expanding, and that's going to be interesting. As at some point, we'll break the news of what our plans are going to be for the future. The national will be the Halifax show June 24th, 25th. And then the national, the end of July in Chicago is the next kind of show schedule. And but it's nice. But right now, what it is, I think Kevin got a ton of cards today. Luke got cards. We're just gonna every card that we have from customers is all. I think I said this last week is all in Santa Ana. Now it's just bring the orders back, and they seem to be coming back great. And I will say this, and hopefully some people will listen. Just because when you send it the value, we stayed 120 days door to door, and we'll stand by that. If it goes over that, hey, come at us. We got big shoulders. We're prepared to take it. But if someone gets their order back at value in 4 weeks, that doesn't mean that your order's lost or you're not getting. They're going to stagger over the course of this. So today over the last couple of days, there's a lot of time we're pumping people's orders back. So they're getting them back in like 30, 40, 50 days. But I'm getting calls and emails from people saying, oh, my buddy got his back. We submitted at the same time at the show. So if just with, the amount of customers that we do have, if we have 7,000 customers in our database now, you can imagine. So just because someone got it back, your cards are safe, secure. As soon as we get them, we'll invoice you. That goes for KD, for Luke. We're not going to hold the cards. We're going to pump them out once we get them.
Sounds fair. Let me extend the question to you guys. So, Luke, anything you're looking forward to in the next little bit?
Yeah, just like Brad was saying, the national's coming up. First time I'll be going there.
Nice.
And then
how many days are you planning to stick around? How many days are you attending?
I think Tuesday to Sunday.
Okay.
So first time, so I've never been there before. I'm pretty excited about that. I have to get some details and stuff like that to figure out what to do and how to get things logistically over. Yeah, that, and then prior to that, I'm going to Halifax at the end of the month for the 2-day show. I booked it kind of more of a holiday than anything else. Gonna take the wife there and eat some lobsters and then lobster rolls.
And then hit Montreal for a smoked meat sandwich on the way home.
Yeah.
Nope.
You say that now, you're like, I have self-control. I will resist.
Taking a direct flight from Halifax home so I can bring the lobsters back home.
We're just gonna find out. We're gonna find out, Brad. That's like, it's like, Luke, I thought you said you were gonna stop in Montreal. Oh, plane had some turbulence. They needed to stop over for a little bit, and all of a sudden you're gonna see Luke walking. You're gonna see a guy with the silhouette of Luke walking with like an engine part. He goes, What happened? I don't know.
Eating the Lesters, eh?
Just saying. Look, I'm just saying. If this scenario was to play out, I would not be shocked. Luke is all I'm saying to you.
No.
Kevin, what are you looking forward to?
Me?
The question was, what are you looking forward to over the next couple months? You know, staring into the abyss. You've got that going for you. What else you got?
I got an invoice while I work here. So I got Taylor Swift tomorrow. So that's
Wow.
exciting.
All right.
Yeah. And then the National. And then I have that TCG show in June on the 26th in Mississauga.
Yep.
So I'm setting up at that. So that's exciting.
Right.
Other than that, not a lot.
There you go. And yet another day we're no closer to the cheese string on, Brad. Yet another day.
I'm waiting for them to drop it.
Kevin
It's
is
got to
failing
be
me.
soon.
Kevin is failing me.
Kev, didn't you go to Taylor Swift last year?
Did I? No, I
Yeah,
went to
did you?
Justin Bieber. I went to Justin
Justin
Bieber
Bieber.
last year. Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay, yeah.
Now, are you taking someone, or are you going, or did you go to
No,
Justin Bieber?
I'm
and
going
Taylor
with my wife and her sister.
I have to ask these questions. The people need to know the answers to these questions. How do I
I'm-
not know you're a closet Swiftie? That could be in play. I don't know.
I'm far from a Swiftie, and my wife is not a huge fan that I'm not a Swiftie. She thinks it's a wasted ticket.
I saw her Netflix. I saw her Netflix show. I thought it was pretty good.
There you go.
I think it'll be good.
Nice. Eric here. Good evening. And Eric also had Luke for Prime Minister while you were talking, Luke. So there you go. All right. So Mark on the Bus had a question. If I walk into the store, what does it roughly cost to have one card graded? So you've got the grading fee. So let's say walk into the store, you got the grading fee depending on what level. What other costs are built into it? What's the play out here?
So if you just had one card, it would just be $27 plus tax for a card with a max value of $4.99. If you have like a few, we charge a flat rate when you walk into the store of $10 shipping, and that will cover up to 10 cards, and then everything above that goes $1.50 a card shipping. So the answer to your question, $27 plus HSD.
Nice. Alex here. What's up, everyone? Good evening, Alex.
Hey, Alex. I was with Alex's mother this afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
We were. She's a card collector as well. So
I was gonna say, give us some context there, Brad.
I thought it was going to result in a Taylor Swift concert. It was just going to become this whole extended thing. So I don't know what to tell you. There you go. No problem, Mark. Thanks for the question. Appreciate it. So yeah, I got to be honest. It kind of plays into that whole theme of it. It's like it's been a real quiet. Although I've had some fun with I don't know. Let me pose this question out to everybody. I like sometimes in my collecting, I've got my main collections, sets that I'm working on, player collections, projects, stuff that I do. But sometimes I've got like a little bucket, a little category, and I don't devote a lot of time or money into it. But sometimes I'll buy some card that just amuses me. There'll be something about it that is like, this just entertains me. And there'll be like, there's no necessary rhyme or reason, but there's different stuff that I can pick up, and you have to kind of know what the thing is. I gave an example when I went to one of the card shows. I picked up a Chris Chucko card. So if anybody remembers him from 09-10, he was the same year as Jamie Benn. He was a prospect for the Flames. Never really, I think he had a cup of coffee in the NHL, maybe a couple of games. But we got a chance to see him play in the AHL in Abbotsford. And in the one game we attended, he happened to dominate. Had himself a couple of goals, scored an over. I think he scored in the shootout. And he was all over the ice for that one night. But I was like, who the hell's this guy? And for one night, he was actually playing. That might have been the greatest game of his career. Like it was the one time, and he happened to be there. And then for the longest time, the joke was Chris Chucko. And obviously, all these years later, the cards are it was a toss-in on another card. So I just went and picked it up. But it's a good joke with a buddy of mine. I showed him the card, and he just started laughing. But that's an inside joke, and it makes sense. But otherwise, the card has no value really to anybody else. Sometimes stuff like that is fun, and that's what I'm referring to. It can be an inside joke. It can just be something you like for whatever silly reason. So real quick here, like Angry Canes guy cards. That's completely valid. That to me that counts. That falls right in the concept.
So going to your story,
Go ahead,
Carlos. Going into your story, do you think there'd be a lot of stories like that coming out with extended?
Oh, 100%. And by that I mean the whole set. I mean, go on. We'll all remember extended, but I wanted to give that story as an example. And if you guys want to share some, but I actually got another card queued up here that is another example, but this is for a different reason. That one is more personal. I saw the guy play. This one, it amuses me, but for a different reason, and I'll explain. But I'll show you the card first. So let's do that. So let me go in here. This card I just acquired. I acquired earlier today. This is a National Treasures dual patch Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold out of 10. High end, people. High end. It was for the princely sum of $25. Now, Carlos, why would you buy such a stupid thing? My friends, let me tell you why. The reason is because in the 2018 football year, I actually opened up boxes of 2018. And if you guys remember the 2018 class, there were a lot of quarterbacks. In the top 10, you had Baker at number 1, Sam Darnold was number 3, Josh Allen, who turned out to be the best so far out of the top 10, was number 7 for the Bills, and number 10 was Josh Rosen. So 2 of those guys there are inside of the top 10, and Baker right now is on his way most out of the league. Sam Darnold right now is fighting to be the number 3 behind the Purdy party. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for Sam Darnold. And Josh Rosen might not be in the league at the moment. Like, he might be over in the XFL practice squad or something. Like, it's not looking good. It's not looking good for our boy. But I got to tell you, back in 2018, you were chasing these guys, plus Lamar. Lamar ended up being the most successful so far because he actually won an MVP. And Josh Allen's shown a lot of talent and flashes. So right now, those 2 guys stand out from the crowd. But the point is, in 2018, you were looking at like 5 different quarterbacks. So I remember pulling some Sam Darnolds, and I sold them early right on time because he had a good Monday Night Football game, and I got rid of those damn things fast. In the years since, though, I've picked up some of those cards on the cheap, and I kind of like having a couple of those Sam Darnold cards to remember that time and go, it was funny. It was funny. Being able to get those so cheap after they were the hot card when I got rid of them the first time in 2018 when I was opening those boxes. But I never pulled any of the Josh Allens, really. I pulled like 1, but I pulled a ton. I have a bunch of Josh Rosen if anybody wants any. I pulled a bunch. Carlos needed the 1 touch. It's like, dude, the 1 touch is scuffed. It still wouldn't be worth it. We need to do it cheaper. I intend on my next pickup videos after I get this card in. I'm gonna have it in the background. It's just gonna be. I'm just waiting for people to ask me like, why in the hell do you have what is that? What the hell is that? I go, guys, you got to remember, 2018 was an interesting time. By the way, the 1 of 1 is on eBay and it's way too high, but I kind of want it. I'm just saying, I kind of want it.
Buy it.
It's $500. I don't want it that much. Unless I get my Justin Gamble, Brad Hartland money, it ain't happening. Just Google. Josh Rosen is currently a free agent, sitting beside the vote. Probably. That makes sense. He was really bad. Like, and he was one of the guys that he talked a big game right after he got drafted. It was kind of interesting. It's a fun callback though to 2018, because in 2018 you had 5 different quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round there. I think 5, if memory serves me, that I named off. And you never knew. But at the time when you were opening boxes of it, you were hoping to pull one of those guys because those were all the ones that people were chasing. They were chasing Darnold, they were chasing Rosen, they were chasing Josh Allen was kind of off the radar. Lamar was kind of off the radar, but he was one of the people on the list. I think he was 31st. I want to say he was right at the end of the first round. So it was one of those things where it worked out well, but it's like, it's a fun memory though. Oh, you got Bowman U?
Don't know. Like I was excited last night. I was
Right.
trying to motivate myself. I'm like, maybe I'm going to open this and just go for that and then I'm like, no, I don't think, because I'm quite confident there's probably nothing in it. But
Well, look, between your Bowman U box and Luke's tin, we got to get one of these things open.
Is that
You guys
is
kill
that the
us.
one above me or whatever? Or
yeah,
Where you can try, yeah. Where you can try.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, the point that I was making with that is I love having a little bucket in the collection just for stuff that maybe is just more than anything kind of a fun memory. Look, for $20, I'm happy to grab that card. By the way, in 2018, that would have been a hell of a card.
Mm-hmm.
Because those were 2 of the guys that people were chasing around that time. Now I can get it for like $20. It's great. So for entertainment value, I can get it much cheaper now than would have been back then.
It's like that. I bought that RG3 National Treasures out at 99 patch auto for 20. I think it was $20, like
Probably.
$20 American or $25 American. I just was like, that was from at Eric's shop, Sam
Oh.
Sports.
Yeah,
World?
it's like Sports World or something like that.
Castanetti. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's
Great
funny. Eric has been out there keeping an eye. He's seen some havres. So he set us a couple aside for me. So he's been at least seeing some stuff there. By the way, it's just as we're talking, I'm curious if any of you have any collections like that, where it's just something you grab, something that's more than anything just for entertainment, just for fun. It is possible to come back from the XFL CFL purgatory. Yes. No. It is. If I was Josh Rosen, if he is in fact a free agent, as Paul said, and he went to the Oracle of Knowledge, so I have no reason to doubt this. But if that's the case, then I'd Josh Rosen, and if I still have an agent who will take my calls, first thing I do, like, please get me on an XFL roster. Let's go to CFL, XFL, whatever. Guess what? Go there, figure it out, play well. There's always a chance you can get. Look, there's so many quarterbacks that suck. There's always a chance to get back in the league, even as a backup. By the way, you could make a good living being a third string quarterback holding the clipboard. You could still make a great living doing that. There's still a chance for you to get back in the league somewhere in there, but you're going to have to take your medicine. You got to go play. You got to at least show somebody you can play at some level of football.
Yeah.
Brad needs to get the Disney boxes at AMG. Got to get the Disney.
I know now. With the big lawsuit.
Yeah,
going
that's right.
down.
That's right. Rod says, get that Wemby auto. Good evening. Good morning on your end. Good morning, Korean Cardboard. Absolutely.
Well, that's stuff too. I opened a box of tennis the other day at the store because I was kind of excited for it.
Oh, the Chrome tennis, the new one? Yeah.
Yeah, but like
the checklist is garbage.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
It wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. There was just a lot. I don't know. I guess I was expecting more players. I think a better assortment. I didn't look at the checklist before I went and opened it, but there was just, I'd say, enjoying myself, open it, looking at it, all the base cards we looked at. I didn't know 90% of the people. It was like SP Legends.
Well, I think so. Kind of to answer Blaine's question, there are a few legends in there, yes, and you've got some of the ladies as well, some of the legends there as well. I think Martina Navratilova, I think, is in the checklist. But the point is when you,
King.
I think so, yeah. And the thing though is, I went over that checklist. We were talking about it on one of the Friday streams with Eric. And I went over because Eric likes stuff like that, like tennis and stuff. But I went over the checklist and I literally read off of it. And I go, yeah, there are some decent names on here, but you're missing a bunch of the ones you would think of. You're missing a lot of, by the way, even the obvious one, my namesake, Carlos Alcaraz. You know, the young guy, like, but he'd be like perfect for a set. Like, he's not in the checklist.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, well, that would be one of the draws. That would be one of the things that people would want to pull because he's won something. That would be totally into it.
Are the Williams sisters in it?
No,
I don't think so. No.
no.
That's what I mean. Like, you're missing some very obvious. Like, look, I'm not a tennis guy, but there's a short list of names that most people who are at least vaguely familiar with sports can. If you're telling me, if I say one of these names, like the Williams sisters, and you say no, this checklist is already not off to a good start because these are like the obvious. The layman is naming them off. It's not good.
Right. There's no Federer. There's no Nadal.
Nice.
Yeah, it's missing a lot of the key pieces. And Alex is very much into Hasbulla. Really wants some Hasbulla cards for you.
Yeah, I will not have a Hasbulla card.
Fair. Eric says, anyone notice the QC on the 22-23 NBA Prism and Optic? I haven't noticed it, but I'm assuming since you're bringing it up, I'm assuming it's not very good. Eric says, just saying hi. I'm going to watch some of the hockeys. Godspeed. So this gives me two thoughts. First one, anyone want to volunteer any collection or little segment they do that's similar to that? Something they do just for fun? I know you've got a bunch, Brad.
No, Kevin, I want to talk about Kevin because I had messages from multiple people about his involvement in his big purchase, which was pretty amazing. I don't know if you have that. Do you have the picture of the wax, or is that? Yeah, someone else. You put that out there publicly, right?
You can, if you want to send it to Carlos, he could post it. I don't have access to my phone to post it, but
yeah, no problem.
It's pretty, and that's public. You posted that public because people started messaging me going like, "What's going on with Kevin?"
This is a question we all ask all the time. Different context, but yes, we asked that question. All right, real quick, Luke, just while we're doing this, since Eric reminded me, we do have Game 3 tonight. All right. So does Florida make a series out of this, or is Vegas on their way to like taking this out real quick? Because right now they're up 2-0. They look pretty dominant Game 1 and Game 2. Does Florida make this interesting? Thoughts?
Honestly,
I hope you're being honest.
Who cares?
There you go. I like it.
That's my answer. You know, I don't know. I like Florida, but I don't. You know, Vegas is going to be better for the hobby. So I don't know. Like I said, who cares? I don't think I've actually watched the final at all. Which
I haven't. I can tell you definitively I haven't. But I've kept an eye on the score, like that part for sure. All right, so hold on. I got the pictures here. I'll pull them up. You guys have to bear with me a minute here. See what I can do. I can actually adjust this to make it a little easier to see. There we go. All right, cool. So, first one. Got a stack of some Charizards. Not Cheestringamon, though. Not nearly as exciting as the Cheestringamon, but we'll make do. All right, so we got a stack of Charizards here. Kevin, explain. What are we doing?
So this is a collection that I want to say it's got to be 5 years at this point working on this collection. And I was dealing with a gentleman in Texas who then ended up in kind of right in the middle of figuring out the final details of the deal, ended up passing away. And then 7 months later, his daughter messaged me on Facebook because I was in contact with the husband or with the dad about the collection. So she had reached out to me saying, "Hey, like, are you still interested? I'm dealing with his estate, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Yeah, like, I'm definitely interested." Like, we had been at this point, and then all of a sudden the stepmother got involved and ended up sending the whole thing into probate for like the better part of 4 years. And through 2 Pokemon bubbles that increased the price that I paid over 4 times what we originally were looking at paying. And now I flew down to Texas last week on Monday, met with the daughter and the lawyer, and then bought it with a friend, with a buddy of mine. Obviously, I don't have a bankroll that will show the next picture that that'll justify it. But yeah, we work together. He is very big into Pokemon, very big into Magic. Started about 15 years ago, and told him that I had a collection that I was looking at, and he kind of just funded the whole thing and is dealing with all the logistics. And it's great for me because I don't have the time to deal with the selling of the stuff. But it was a good little 2-day trip to Texas for 48 hours and got a nice steak and flew home, and of course got sick while I was there. So it was 16 booster boxes from the 90s.
I was just excited about the water bottle myself. That's the part I was confused about.
Yeah, first edition German, first edition French, a bunch of unlimited base set, and then the 3 fossil and 3 jungle. So pretty sweet to see a collection like that still exist, let alone all in one person's what's it called, like, possession. So definitely the biggest purchase that I've ever done and the biggest purchase I've been a part of, but took a long time and a lot of back and forth. And at the 11th hour, the store that appraised it tried to kind of snake their way back into the deal by having like a disclaimer that if they didn't buy the collection, it was like a $25,000 appraisal fee, versus if they did buy the collection, they would waive the appraisal fee. It was some crazy thing where it ended up the lawyer was like, that you can't actually have that built into a contract. So they ended up pulling that at the last minute. But up until then, I honestly thought I was gonna spend 5 years and not end up buying the collection. So it was interesting. It was a good time. Very nice people. Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. And I like that one of the boxes, Brad, was German. I'm kind of hoping that, like, see, what we should do. Look, we got Bowman U with you. We got Luke with his Cup 10. And I kind of want Kevin to open up the German Pokemon. Brad, what's German for G.I. Joe? G.I. Joe, it could have been anything else. I'll say, quickly, someone to the Google machine finding out the German translation.
So, Kevin, I have a question for you. I was talking with some guy today about that. So, the first editions, are they more valuable than the shadowless?
So if you want to look at it from that perspective, yes, the first edition Charizard is worth more than the shadowless Charizard. But if you look at it from like a population report, the rarity of the actual shadowless Charizard in a high grade is actually more rare than the first edition. There's less tens of the shadowless than there are of the first edition. So if you look at it from that, it's probably more rare to have really good condition shadowless. But in terms of boxes, first edition is always going to be bigger, regardless of whether shadowless is higher or not. There's a bunch of rumors of whether shadowless was first print or in between first edition and unlimited. It's never really been verified by Wizards of the Coast of which order it came in. So you will never be able to really tell which one's more rare. But the rumor is that first edition is significantly more rare than anything else that they've done. So
Okay.
It's fair. So, Brad, obviously we talked about this already last week. So you've gotten the boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of update, right?
Extended, yes.
Oh, sorry, extended. Yeah,
Yes.
extended. I saw a couple of box breaks of it, and I've already had my chuckle. What's been your brief experience? Have people been opening them up? What's the feedback? What are you seeing?
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, it hasn't been going that bad.
Okay.
We still have a ton of product.
I said you start off with what, 600 boxes?
Yeah.
So you have
we got a lot.
598 left. What are you going to do with the other 598?
No, I didn't even bring one home.
I was going to say, like, so everyone, we're about to give away a case of extended.
I
he just
really,
adds $120 onto every invoice and just adds a box into their submission.
well, you know what? Honestly, we are going to do. We're just waiting because so many people have been affected by the fires. I won't
Of
get
course,
into too
yeah,
much detail, but we're going to make an announcement probably this weekend that anyone that was affected and lost their collection, because there's a lot of young guys that we know did. If you just come into AMG Collectibles, then we're going to do a little PSA thing as well. We'll offer you something there, and we'll have a nice little gift bag to get started. And there could be a hobby box of Upper Deck Extended in there. So, that'll be announced next week, though.
All right, fair enough. James says too much money right now. Yes, I saw some of the breaks, and I was like, and I think Ziri has already had a break, and a couple of the other folks, the traditional folks that I look at, and it's like, I see.
So, does anyone know who Ziri is?
Ziri.
Ziri. Do people know who he is?
He's been to the expo, and people have recognized him, or at least recognized his voice, and then in turn chatted with him. He does have a bit of a unique voice.
He submitted cards with us.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. No, I wouldn't doubt that at all.
Yeah,
Like,
no, he did. He did the video on it, and he said he submitted the cards to us. And I was like, oh, maybe I can crack down who he is, but I wouldn't.
Ziri is Hockey Canada. It all
It's the same person.
it all comes together. But yeah, no, it's one of those things where if somebody wants to be anonymous, look, he's done extremely well considering that his brand is that he basically stays anonymous. He's a disembodied voice that opens packs, and still done extremely well. So like, I can't argue with it. It works.
It's I watch his things. I like when he opens stuff. I get it, but I do find the voice though. I find that not like, I don't want to say annoying, but it's not my. You talk about Justin Gamble. Sometimes it gets a little fast. There's a lot of movement, etc. I find with the Ziri, it's not my. I feel like he can make a change on that.
There you go. I like it. Mike here, Canadian Cards, said I've met Carlos Ziri. I know what he meant, but I just enjoyed the way it was phrased. It's like, I've met Carlos. You have. I'm looking for a few cards he has for sale right now. There you go, James. Bobby Burrell, good evening. I asked Siri all my hockey questions. You should. Siri is wise. Ziri reminds me of Bubbles. I could see where you're going with that. I could see it.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
Quick question. You said that the fires affected a bunch of kids
Yes.
and their collections or whatever?
Yeah.
So when I come out there, I don't know what you want to do or whatever. I want to give this away then.
Yeah.
Oh, that you know what? I think I had that comic book at one point. Wasn't that?
Yeah,
the one
but
that
did
was
you
like
have
gold?
this one? I don't think you had this one. This is a French version. I just picked up a whole bunch of these, but
Yeah.
it's the French one where he's wearing 99.
Okay.
So most of them aren't. Most of them are in English, or whatever. But this one
Yeah.
here is the Skating on Thin Ice, the French edition, or whatever, where he's wearing the 99 jersey. So
What's he wearing the English one though?
nothing. He's wearing an Oilers jersey, but there's
He's wearing
no
clothes. He's
number.
wearing clothes, Luke.
He's
Don't
just
try to
naked.
present.
Just
This ain't that
naked
kind
on
of show, Luke.
Yeah.
I have those comic books, but no, it's not that one.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I just like the way Luke answered your question. It's like too easy. But I had the English version of that comic book. I know for a fact that I had the English version of the comic book, and I was like, yeah, I recognized the picture, the image on the front of it. It's like I recognize that one. I'm
I
familiar.
have the English one as well. But yeah,
That's awesome.
See, Bobby, get that. You know, if we can confirm that probably was printed in '89, probably falls under the book. Get on it. He's got included in the app. Come on. Now there was so Brad. I don't know. I already asked Luke, and I got the answer I was expecting. Kevin, do you have any opinion on the Stanley Cup Game 3?
Honestly, I forget who's even in it.
There you go, Brad Harlan. Any thoughts? Any thoughts of Stanley Cup Finals 8 or Game 3?
I really do hope that Florida wins, and I hope that Bobrovsky can. My uncle called this. He said, "Telling you, he had too long of a layoff. He's so streaky. That layoff's going to kill him. He's going to blow up in Game 1 and 2." And he completely called it right. Not saying that he was the only reason, but I'd love to see Florida come back and win and make a series out of it to get a little bit of excitement. But
If they win, who wins MVP?
if Florida
If
wins,
Florida wins, who wins? Kachuk or
Kachuk hands down, I think. And I
No,
also,
Bob?
no, and I also think. Well, actually, I'm biased on that. Yeah,
I was going to say.
Marchessault will win if Vegas wins, and no, I'm saying that because I listen to every reporter's telling me that. That's the reason why I'm not making my own opinion. So
There you go. So Mark of the Bus here says, much uptake on Topps Heritage Baseball. I think I saw you guys, AMG had a posting about that. How's the Topps Heritage Baseball doing for you guys?
not bad. You know, like all our products pretty much sell out still. Like some stuff takes a little bit longer. Now I can tell you what doesn't sell is minor league, Topps Heritage minor league that they do.
Right.
But we couldn't. Well, we did. We ended up giving away boxes on trade night because we couldn't sell it. That's right up there with the old CFL. Yeah, but no, honestly, all the Topps products seem to move pretty well. One thing I'm still trying to figure out, and I got to send an email to Grosvenor, our distributor. So we have a lag in Canada now, which we never used to have quite this bad. And I don't know if it has to do with Fanatics taking over Topps. But now we're a week behind on our Topps releases. We were always maybe a day or two behind.
Right.
But like right now, Topps Series 2 is out everywhere in the U.S. and we won't get ours till middle or end of next week, I don't think. So it's almost like a week to 10 days behind schedule compared to the U.S. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's just with Grosvenor. I'm not sure if that's happened with Universal Distribution, but I'm pretty sure it's
the whole Universal sucks. Same thing.
I'm leaving it be. You all are the ones who run businesses that need distributors. Distribution is part of your deal.
I love it that Kevin just that was a ballsy maneuver by Kevin there.
I was gonna say, look, I appreciated it, but I'm just saying this show.
Listen, me and my Universal rep had it out a couple times in the last couple weeks, so it's all good.
I want this to be like a truly Canadian thing. Is like you just see them as like they're having a hockey fight out in the parking lot.
Like, I actually had it with all three of my distributors in the last 10 days. Like I'm just not happy.
Tough time.
I'm gonna start buying off Brad. I'm just gonna have it shipped to East Coast back to me.
All right, now this leads me to kind of two lines. So at the beginning of the show, we kind of wanted to get our footing because it's one of those things. Like I said, when the news portion of it is slow, it's a little bit tough to think of exactly what to talk. But now that we've gone down this line of conversation, now two thoughts come to mind. First one is I saw some of the pre-sale stuff for OPC Platinum. So I want to get a thought about this. Let me read two comments, and I want to get a thought about this. So what up, Eric? Facts, Bobby. Vegas, been wearing the hat for years. He has. That is a fact. Better bring out the 2022 Bowman and 22 Bowman Sterling you have left, Brad. De La Cruz for the Reds look like a baby star. Yes, he's had a big breakout early on. Very early on, but yes.
Two games.
Woo, crazy.
Time for me to invest in him.
Hashtag invest. Let's do it. Hey, listen, that's what the Manoa's for. Make a straight trade. Let's go. Okay, so number one, I like the OPC Platinum product. But I was seeing, now again, it depends on where you're looking at it. I was seeing like $249 Canadian-ish, thereabouts. That feels expensive. Thoughts? Like that feels like look, I think it's a very nice product. I like the product. I feel like it's coming out and by the way, it's still a 21-22 product, which we're getting used to this idea here of it's the year 2023 and we're looking at 21-22 product. But like the price point at this feels way high to me. It's out of whack. And I want to be very, very clear. A lot of us here are buddies with some of the folks over at Upper Deck. They're nice folks. This product is too expensive for what it is, and stop me if you've heard this before. This has been a theme of a lot of recent products. It's like, guys, it's not that the product is terrible. I'm looking at the price point and comparing it to the product. Price point and comparison to the product. Luke, just in general, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's a little high. But I think, it's like anything else. I mean, it's going to sell for what it is. It's still going to sell. people are still gonna buy it because there's like collectors. I know guys that collect the whole complete master sets of OPG Platinum, right? So but yeah, it's getting more and more out of line, I think.
Mhm.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
that's all I'm trying to get at here. Like, to me, look at it this way. I understand that the price point has adjusted, and as time has gone on, we've adjusted with it. To me, back years ago, $100 to me was expensive for a box. But and I'm not talking about premium. I'm talking about, like, used to be able to get a whole bunch of boxes under $100, and then anything above $100 tended to be a nicer product. Whatever you accepted, it was there. Eventually, we steadily crept up. Right now, as it stands today, I look at 199 as kind of this cutoff, where I'm like, look, in today's dollars, $200, need to feel like I'm getting a certain value. OPG Platinum is a very nice product. I like it for what it is. But now we're talking almost 250. Like, it for one box. You're not finishing anything in one box. Your odds of pulling something, you better pull something amazing, because you're hurting. There's a lot of ways. You already feel like you're losing before you even open up a pack.
Yeah, and just so I like talking numbers without.
Sure.
But at 250, we'll be making $10 a box.
That to me is a bad deal for everybody, because that isn't a lot, and the price is high.
Absolutely, I agree 100% with you, and it's weird. It was the distributors, stores, and we were all guilty of this during the pandemic. Like, when things came out, you'd sell them for what you could get for it. I mean, that's doing business. You have to make your money when you can.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's almost like the manufacturers have taken back control of their product, which to some extent they should have, but now it's coming out at those prices as well. So I just see with this stuff, like your local LCSs, it's just making it so hard. Like I talked to Kevin yesterday, how you feel it at your store right now. It's like all these products are coming out. The margins are so thin, and you have to take everything in order to keep allocations. It's getting very complex. The whole distribution from production to the distributor to your LCS, it's getting very, very tough.
Yeah. And Bobby is doing the math exactly right. 4 boxes in this scenario is $1,000. So somebody comes into your store, gives you $1,000, they get 4 boxes.
Yeah.
And it's a 4% margin.
We net $40. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 4% margin. That is atrocious.
Yeah. I mean, like Brad, like me and Brad talked. Like, I don't do a lot with sports. I'm primarily Pokemon, and that like not even a lot of anything else. But even Pokemon wise, like, Brad has the benefit of being protected by being a brick and mortar and primarily selling products that are brick and mortar based, whereas like Pokemon is the wild west. Like, there is people buying boxes at $135, selling them for $140 shipped. Like, it makes no sense. It's just a rush to the bottom to not have to worry about their credit card carrying a balance for 5 more days. It's crazy for us. Like, I don't know why people sell things for fun. I've never been in the business of selling a product to lose money, but Pokemon right now is it's a nightmare because people will just continuously dump it within 5 days of the release.
Yeah. And it does. And it sucks. It sucks knowing that you're going to buy a product and you're going to lose money and you have to buy it. I guess you can say no, but that's going to affect your future allocations. It's almost like
every time I've ever said no, all of a sudden I've just like not gotten stuff that like like it just doesn't get talked about. You just kind of just get passed over immediately. Like
AMG now we don't get Panini products because AMG does not buy Panini products at the secondary pricing, which means if we wanted to buy product at the secondary pricing, we'd buy it to lose money.
Yeah,
that's just, it's stupid. So I said, you know what? All right, I don't care if I get my 2 boxes of Prism. It's just not worthwhile doing it.
Well, so that's exactly it, right? They gave my store like 1 box of Prism at pre-order price, and then they wanted me to take 4 at the restock price, but the restock price was already at what eBay sales like sold was, plus the tax added on, and I was like, sure, you're giving me one at a great price that I'll make a margin at, but after that, like, what do you want me to do? Like, I can't take on. I'm a tiny store. Like, my whole store is 600 square feet. Like, it's very small.
But it just makes it. I mean, the whole thing has to be figured out, and everyone's relying on Fanatics to do it. I don't know if they can figure the whole thing out, but the whole system has to change because, as I think James mentioned, I can't afford wax, so I don't even look at it. I agree with you 100%. I think that's it sucks. I want to open up so many products, and I look at it, and I'm just like, no, like I took this box home, and this is $250, and I was like, I really want to open it up. Like the odds are 1 in 10,000 that I'm going to pull out a Wemby ob. You know what I'm trying to say.
Just say Wemby.
Wemby, right?
Come on, Brad. Let's go.
But I just thought about it. I'm just like, why am I going to do that? You know what I mean? Like that's not going to be fun because I'm going to be mad that I just blew $250, right?
That sounds to me like you should do it for the content, Brad. Don't do it. Don't do it for you. Do it for the content.
Yeah, my tennis box. It was like it was $100 or $90 or whatever it was. Hey, that's great. You know what I mean? Take the chance for under $100.
Mhm.
There's 4 of us that.
I think that's why I've gravitated more to like Japanese product. Like Luke talks to me about it and stuff. Like I think that's why I've kind of started to gear towards that of like the Japanese Marvel Marvel and Disney cards and stuff like that. Because well, right now they're expensive, but when I pre-ordered them, it was like $100 a box. I was like, okay, if I open this box, like it's only $100. It's a lot more fun.
Like, do you think I get in trouble? Like, so this doesn't release till tomorrow, and it's like the police would be if I open this up.
No, you're good. As long as you don't sell it, they can't do anything.
I don't even know. I'm not even taking the chance because if you like the Upper Deck Hobby Police, although this is Pokemon, if you open up something or you release it like an hour early, I don't know how. Like they will find out and they will track you down. And we made a mistake.
No, Pokemon's a lot more lenient, especially like depends on who you get it from. Like I cleared it with Grosvenor that if I want to do breaks, once I get my product on Wednesday forward, as long as I don't ship the cards prior to release, they're fine with it because they know that the store needs to have it early, so they don't care. As long as I'm not actively selling it at the store, they've never had an issue. With that being said, a lot of stores do sell early. Not me.
Yeah, I think. Look, at the end of the day, obviously, be conservative. I think the obvious answer is either Luke's tin of the cup or the Bowman U behind it, and open it for the content. That's the obvious answer, and then we're all safe, Brad. That's the obvious play.
Yeah.
But that said, though, the Upper Deck Police guys, which that is a real thing, but they're into not selling the product. the point isn't that I don't think like under the guise of preview. You're not selling the product to somebody online. It's if you sell it to somebody violating the terms. But like I said, either way, the safest thing, and the Upper Deck guys can't do anything, is like I think we need to go for Wemby. I think that's what the people need to do. Real quick, I'll read a couple of these here. Jeff says to Chuck left the game injured. Thank you for the update, Jeff.
Jeez.
Bobby Brell says Brad. 3 Brads. Wait until Fanatics 10x the hobby, then you make it $400 versus to $40. No, the problem is they'll 10x the hobby, and then it'll be $1,000, $10,000 for the 4 boxes, and then it'll still make $40. Wait, the margins stayed the same. We 10x the hobby, we increased the price by 10, but we kept the margin the same. Don't worry. It'd be great with the moniker Breaker Brad. We're liking the alliteration. All right, so Mark on the buzz here says, do you think there'll come a day when the regulators come for cards to be regulated as gambling? ? The odds have been on boxes for decades now. Literal decades.
I'll be back.
Now,
Go ahead.
It did happen, and there's a guy on YouTube that I've watched. He used to live in China, but he's back here now, and he did a thing on. So the one biggest card shop in China just got shut down by the government. Did you follow that along?
It doesn't ring a bell. No.
Yeah, so it just happened. So the biggest card shop in China is shut down out, and it had to do with, obviously you'll have to do your own research on it, but it had to do with gambling because they were doing breaking in China, and the government shut them down because it was illegal gambling. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a couple things out there on it.
Yeah,
it was interesting.
Yeah, I think it's Look, I think a lot of folks have asked the same question. I'll read the rest of the comment here. More and more watching breaks and whatnot app seems like open tickets at the gas station. The thing is, that's always been true. As soon as we introduce chase cards with odds, it literally it is gambling. There, I heard they shut it down because they were gambling. Like I guess cards were being used as part of it, but they were gambling. I'll have to look into it, but I'm curious. But regardless, the thing with the regulation piece is that a lot of folks ask the question. I think the answer is no, and the reason I say the answer is no is because the dollars aren't sufficient for them to care. Now, if there's money to be made, I think a lot of folks that look towards regulation and think that's going to be some panacea that's going to fix stuff. I would caution you and remind you that when have we successfully regulated anything that doesn't somehow cost you more money in the long run? Okay, now you've got it regulated. Congratulations. Now your box is $500. It's like, why? Well, now you got to pay all the extra fees and things for regulation, people to validate this stuff. The good news is you get your stuff, but there's still no value there. It's not going to change the value proposition. It's not going to change the secondary market. It'll make you feel better, but somebody's going to pay for those regulators. So it's going to come out of somewhere. You're still going to pay for it. And you're going to have a bunch of people that are going to get really mad that they're paying taxes. The people who are outside of cards are like, I don't care if these idiots buy these cards and spend money on this cardboard. Why am I getting taxed for this? Mm-hmm. I can see it. And I can see someone losing an election over who put these idiots in charge, who created a regulatory agency for sports cards or to watch the pokies, although they should be watched. I have concerns. Kevin, I'm watching you down there. Watching you. I'm saying the regulation is coming for the pokies. We're watching you.
I wouldn't be surprised, man, the amount of people who do live. I don't understand the whole live ripping, live opening. It's not even the same as sports cards, whereas Pokemon, like, people just pay other people to open packs. I'll never understand.
It's the same thing as the what's that upper deck thing?
E-Pack?
Yeah, E-Pack. Stupid.
I've fallen into the E-Pack trap a couple times. Shit.
I feel like Luke had a bad experience one day going, E-Pack.
I was going to say, just saying, I got a question. Luke, is there something you would like to talk about? But Luke, tell us where E-Pack hurt you.
No, you know what? I'll be honest. I bought like 3 boxes one time. And I hit nothing.
Nothing.
My buddies bought like 3 packs. Or
what did you buy boxes of, by the way? What did you buy boxes of?
I don't know. It was like 18, 19 or 19, 20, like Series 1. It was like $100 or whatever. But even still, you know. And like I hit nothing. No Young Guns. And then you put it into this thing, whatever you put it in their vault or whatever. And then if you want to take it out, you got to pay to take it out. You got to pay for the ship. And then when it comes over, you got to pay for duties. I'd rather have it here in my hand, open it up, and if it's crappy, I just throw it in the garbage or throw it against the wall. I mean, I can do that. I can't do that with something online, right? So,
but Luke, what about the products where the E-Pack has all the hits? You open up all the physical product like a sucker, you get nothing, and then you go to E-Pack, it's like autograph out of 10, autograph out of 25,
and that's the other thing too. And I never have the luck to go and hit that, so it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, it's like they open one pack and that's it. It's like, Brad, I think we should all chip in and send Luke $1 via PayPal so that he'll open up 1 pack of the cup. Kevin, I want to pay somebody to open 1 pack. Let's all send Luke $1 to open up 1 pack of the cup. I just need you to open 1, Luke. That's all. Just 1.
No.
Brad, I swear I'm going to get this pack.
Take the base card.
Opened. It's going to happen. We got to get this tin opened. 1 time.
Someday.
Yeah. He's gonna bring it to Halifax and open it while he eats lobster. Come on now.
Then he's gonna damage it with lobster. Oh,
drop some butter on top of like an RPA at a 1.
It's like it came that way with lemon juice on it. Like don't question me.
This smells like tartar sauce.
4% is quite sad, and your output of cash is crazy to keep up stock. Yeah, and that goes back to the conversation we had. It was last week or the week before, where we're talking about like the store. That's a lot of cash up front, or credit in some cases, which by the way is dangerous. But like some stores run on credit. But either way, like it's a big cash output for such tiny margins. It's nonsense. It's like it seems it's ridiculous if you actually think about it. Like, and at that point, you almost think like, who actually wants to run a store? It's a cool idea in theory.
Oh man, we're even back now.
Yeah.
we're even back now where I got an email today where I got the distributor saying, we'll give you a case of this, but you have to take a case of this in order to get this.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like, this will never sell. Like, it's not, it's, you know, I gave away 100 of them because they don't sell.
Yeah.
I will say though, unfortunately, this is not the only industry that is done. Like I like to participate in some of that because I talk about sometimes I love the luxury watches. Like a lot of them, I enjoy. I collect some. I used to collect them. They're very expensive, but a lot of the distributors, a lot of the retailers, they're forced to take on really high price models that don't sell to get the models that people want. It's the same. It's the same. And by the way, that it gets extended then to the customers sometimes. They're like, oh, we've got this very desirable model that you're on a waiting list for. You're on a waiting list. But you know, we could probably move you up further up the waiting list if you want to spend a bunch of money on jewelry and some of these other products that are slower moving. I'm sure we could get you further up the waiting list. It's like, you know, it's basically, you know, bartering with people to be like, yeah, just spend a bunch of money and we'll move you to the front of the line.
Mm-hmm.
And like, and people have complained for that for time immemorial, and it's like it's a legitimate problem. Imagine that at the dealer level. Imagine that at the customer level. Everybody's getting extorted in some way. That's a broken system. That sounds to me like a very broken system.
And it will change. And, you know, if you go back 10 years ago, it was a lot different. The landscape is forever changing. If you look at the course of a year, what you're going to make, I'd say you're probably going to average 15. Like if you average 20% profit on wax for the year, you'd be doing pretty good. I think it's more for a local LCS, probably 15%. When you take the winners and the losers, there used to be, I think that's the margin. I always thought that if Fanatics does do that, they could set up some sort of a program to keep things even keel, where it was more or less you get the product, you know, you're going to make your 25 to 30%. That would really be a good program to keep LCSs going. You know, the days, like I'd sooner have product for the customers and not make 3x on a box, but to be able to have a steady flow of product for the customers available, and you make your 30 points, 25 or 30 points, and the consistency goes. Your customers are happy. The hobbyists are happy. It would just work. And again, I don't know how to set that up, but I think if you put a bunch of smart people in a room and say, guys, we got to figure something out here in order to protect the industry and make this work, then they could make it happen.
Well, it's like you said, you had during the boom there, you had like people going to Walmart and buying blasters for, I think they were like $29.99 or $34.99 at one point, and reselling them before they got in their car for $100.
And 2020 Topps Chrome F1. 2020 was the first year. So those hobby boxes came. I remember 24 of them came to the store, and a guy walked in and they're in the box. I'm like, oh, this stuff's not going to sell that good. And this is exactly what went through my mind. And I said, well, I should check the price just to see what it's at. Our cost was like $85 a box. And the guy was like, got any F1? I said, yeah. I said, yeah, we just got in like 24 boxes. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with it all. And he goes, I'll give you $800 a box. And I was like,
excuse me?
You know what? So that instantly I sold them. They're like $3 or $4 grand now, but they went up. But a 10x when the product came in, like that's not good for the hobby. You know what I mean? That was the biggest thing that we've ever had at AMG.
Well, and $80 cost is such a cheap cost on a product as it is. Like that.
No.
That's crazy to think about it. And to be fair, that's because now Topps Chrome is like $325 on the pre-order, and you get 2 boxes, and then you have to buy it at $850 or $1,000.
Yeah, but what that did now all of a sudden you get the Topps Chrome F1. The boxes cost $300, and you have a hard time getting $300 for them.
Yeah.
Well, I think though, to be fair, Kevin's point is fair, but I would throw out something. It's not like the box of Chrome in 2023. There's that much extra stuff in the box to make it that much more expensive to manufacture, really. So
no, it's the exact same.
Yeah, the consumer is looking at it and going like, wait, so you got these many cards per pack, these many packs per box. This box looks very similar. The you haven't added any crazy designs or anything nuts, like now a lot of this stuff. So basically, in effect, when I open this box, I'm gonna get a lot of the stuff that I saw 3, 4, and 5 years ago out of a box like that. Obviously, change the players, change the checklist, whatever. but it
Well,
was like
F1, you're not even
$100.
really changing the playlist. That you're not even really changing it. It's the same people almost
Oh,
every
for sure.
single
But
year.
you'll get some rookies in the rookie class. But I'm saying for the most part, the checklist will barely move. The product will change slightly. It'll be tiny variations, but the price tripled. Like
Yeah.
and I'll use the example of obviously when everything went crazy. 2018 Top Scrum UFC. I bought boxes of that, and I bought boxes of that at the expo for like $75 Canadian. I just bought them, and I was opening them up and pulling the refractors and all that, and I have the entire checklist of the of that autograph set, minus the one guy, and that's the only thing I'm missing, and that's the last one I need for the set because the other one, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't exist because I haven't seen it. It might not be.
Is that McGregor you need?
No, the McGregor wasn't in the autograph checklist. It was Sugar Shane. The name escapes me, but he's one of the young guy. No, there was there was a guy who goes by Sugar Shane nickname, but I forget which one. I forget what his last name is, but he was one of the young guys. He was one of the young prospects at that time, and he's still very popular. But the thing is that his autograph is like $300 now. Like it's almost $300. But I was buying like Amanda Nunez was in that checklist, and I bought her autograph for like $40. And like you've got Hall of Famers all over the place, and popular talents of that. The thing is, I put together like a 33 card checklist. I have 32 of the 33 cards, and I pulled a bunch of them from boxes. What do you think the UFC? What does UFC Prism cost per box? What are these?
See,
like, can't do it.
that's the good thing with Pokemon and TCGs is like they're kind of restricted in what they can do. So instead of having a jacked up price for a booster box that's looking good. For example, the next set coming out, Obsidian Flames, has a Charizard in it, so it's typically going to be a good set. The distributors still have to sell it at the same price they sold the last two sets for, just like they had to sell the previous block for the same block that they had to. It's just maybe they'll scale back your allocation and have more at a higher price for you, but you're not going to end up having to pay $220 a box ever for Pokemon. You're going to be in that range that you always are.
Yeah.
And the restock price might be higher, but if you're getting a good allocation already, you don't have to worry about it. Whereas sports is like the wild west.
Yeah. Now I found
sorry, and you can't blame, like I don't blame the manufacturers, or I don't blame the distributors. I don't blame the hobby shops. The blame I really put on guys like us, the collectors. Like we're the ones that have created these prices to get where they're at, right?
Well, and it sucks because you can say, like, if you don't like the price of a box, don't buy it. But then the box is still bought by the store, which then it only affects the store because the distributor's already got paid unless the distributor doesn't sell the product. But you got to have product on your shelf. So you're kind of controlled a little bit both ways, right? So.
Well, the only thing I fear, with the distributors, the only problem with it is that, their restock pricing is jacked up. But why is it jacked up? Because it's still the same product that they sold the same ones at $85, and they probably had cases of them sitting in the back. And now because it's hot, why would they have to sell it to the stores at that price?
Well, that's kind of like it's actually a longer conversation, but you're bringing up one of the key pieces. We've talked about all the different steps along the way. The manufacturers are starting to claw back more of the profit margin, and for a little while, the distributors were getting to capitalize. If a product got hot, the distributor could be like, yeah, Brad, I have an allocation of 50 boxes for you. In reality, there's 2,000 boxes back there. Mm-hmm. And he could give you 2,000 boxes if you wanted to pay for them. But it's like, no, I'm going to give you 50. Let's see what happens. And if it comes out hot and triples in price, hey, Brad, I found 50 more boxes.
Yeah.
This conversation would happen to stores all over the country and all over the world all the time. And then it'd be like, how did you find more cases? How did you find? They can't all just be sitting behind Luke on Luke's shelf because he refuses to open them. It can't just be that. There's got to be something else to it.
It's true, and everyone's guilty of that. Like your LCS is guilty of that. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, I was going to wait and see what happens with these prices. How many did you get in? Oh, we got in 48 boxes, but you got 72. 24 sitting out back, so you can just play and say, and that can win. You can win at that, or it can backfire. Right? It's kind of like with Series 1 and Series 2 Upper Deck now. And I've made the decision. I said to everyone at AMG, it's like, you have to go one way or the other. Whatever you buy from Series 1 of Upper Deck, at issue price, you will get a Series 2 at issue price. And that's the general rule of thumb that AMG is going to use. Because everyone just wants to get Bedard in Series 2. It's like, hey, whatever you buy Series 1, you'll get at issue price. So we'll see what happens.
Hopefully, you get the same
That's
amount.
my retirement plan, Brad. I don't have a retirement plan, so it's just a case of Pokemon cards into the closet every single release.
No, but yeah, you will. Upper Deck's going to make a lot more Series 2 than Series 1.
I think that's true. I think it'll be interesting how the numbers play out for that one. We'll have a lot of fun with that when we get into it. So real quick, I see here Dave's joining us. Good evening, Dave. Okay, let me pose one more quick topic here, and we'll wind her down on this one. This one plays well into heart. We were joking about it a little bit earlier. I was joking about it with Brad. All right, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the Live Tour and the PGA Tour, merger thing, because Brad and I are going to have some fun. We're gonna talk about that offline. We'll have some fun with that one. But let me ask kind of a question that plays into a little bit of the theme of the night, because it actually I'll see bring it back into the theme of the night a little bit as it's developed throughout the course of the discussion. But one of the things that has been a bit of a frustration, I talked about it with the OPG Platinum, I've talked about it with some of the product, we talked about it with the Extended. There's a lot of criticism and critique going Upper Deck's way because of the frustrating, certain products not coming out fast enough. We're still getting 21, 22 product in the year 2023. A lot of these little different things. One thing that I was thinking about, and I was actually listening to a bunch of podcasts about it, not directly related to the Live Tour thing, but related to other things about the PGA Tour, either because of the relationship or whatever it is, or Upper Deck's own issues or whatever the case is. Upper Deck has the PGA license, and they released a product in 2021. They released, I think, 4 products that came out for 2021 year. But it's not like it's an annual thing. They've had that license now going back years, and they're really not releasing product. So the question is, if you're somebody who's a fan of that stuff, bringing it into the sports card realm, and Brad, you can attest to this. If I want to buy a Tiger Woods Upper Deck rookie, and again, we can debate the rookie discussion or whatever, but there's a 2001 Upper Deck base card. We've got a Future Watch Auto, whatever. We've got a high end, we've got a mid end, we've got a low end, we've got options. But there's all these players that are like the stars of today. I think there was an Upper Deck set in 2014, and I think Rory McIlroy and some of those guys are in that set. But after that, up until 2021, there's a bunch of rookies. Look, I'll put it this way. Brooks Koepka won the last PGA, I think it was the PGA Championship. Yep. He won the last major championship. Quick pop quiz for somebody. What's his rookie card? By the way, hint, it's not Upper Deck. He doesn't have an Upper Deck card.
No, I was going to say he doesn't have a card. Does he have an S? I don't even think he has an SI for kids.
I think he's got an SI for kids. The point is, that, there are cards that exist of him. The point is, I got to go way off the beaten path all the way over there. So explain that to me. The guy has won 5 major championships. And he's a very controversial figure. If nothing else, he's notorious right now, but he's very good at what he does. He doesn't have a rookie card. Even if Luke wanted to come out here and declare that it's Brooks Koepka to the moon, we can't do it. I have nothing to offer you. Can I offer you Chistringamar? That's all I got. And I don't even have that, Kevin.
You don't even have that yet.
I don't even have that. I'm waiting for the Brooks Koepka Chistringamar collaboration, but until then, nothing.
Do you know what I wonder now, though, if the PGA is going from a nonprofit to a profit organization with this whole thing? That could be a good thing from a golf card standpoint, because if they're all under that one umbrella,
it could be. The reason I wanted to bring it up is that I'm saying that there is some very interesting times with the manufacturer. I'm using Upper Deck as an example, but I'm saying even if you're like, oh well, I don't care about golf, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. There are a lot of these genres that are more niche. The point is though. Imagine a sport that has money in it, which it clearly does, that you can go entire years without a rookie class. We haven't heard of stuff like that since basketball in the 80s. Basketball in the 80s is like the last sport that is even on TV that you can go these stretches where like, okay, so the Jordan rookie is the 86, 87, but Jordan didn't start playing basketball in 86, 87. Well, there's the star cards, but do we count those? But then there's these gaps. But none of the other sports have that, and in golf you had it. So now here's a question. So how do you play that, Brad? You collect some golf cards. What are we doing here? When are we getting our Brooks Koepka rookies in 2024?
I know.
Well, it's the same thing as F1 actually. So F1, when 2020 came out, the reason why it became so hot was obviously with all the hype and people coming in and stuff like that. But that was also the first time that they produced those cards of Hamilton and all these other guys, right? So in a long time.
Mhm.
So there's a gap in between that they had, that they didn't. Topps Chrome was the first time they printed them.
Yep. No, for sure. The reason I'm asking this question is that with PGA, it's a little bit weird because in 2001 and the first couple of years of the 2000s, they produced sets. Then I don't remember exactly how long the break was in between, but in 2014, they have a set. But between 2014 and 2021, there's nothing that I'm aware of that I recall. I believe that was it. I think they took a break between around 2014 or maybe 2015 to 2021. And then now we're in 2023. How's that coming along? So you can find cards in some of these other miscellaneous sets, I guess, but like, I don't know. I'm just curious. Like, it's a question. I'm posing a question. Dave here says, perhaps PSA Canada can send us some fresh air. We'll send the fan. I've been getting a kick out of some of the Americans complaining about it. They're like, oh, but all this hot air. It's like, it means the fan's working. Blow it south. Now that Live in the PGA merged, I guess Tiger wish he took the $700 million. Tiger's a guy. We'll Brad and I are having this debate. Look, if Tiger had taken it, he'd be welcome. They'd roll him out a red carpet. They'd be like, please, thank you for coming back, Sir Tiger. Keep your money. It's all good. Rod, just need in the game to make a Kepka versus DeChambeau and Forces card. That's what I'm saying. There are opportunities here being missed, man. Brad, I don't like everything Brian Gray does, but I'd be in for this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Look, I like golf. It's one of those things I don't watch as much as I used to because it's a little tough. It was kind of fun when it was Tiger versus the field. It was fun to root against. It was fun to root for Tiger. It was fun to root against Tiger. That was an enjoyable time. It's tougher now because it feels like the quality of talent is so good, but it's very dispersed. There are a lot of guys that can win now. So, yes, R.I.P. the Iron Cheek, absolutely. If Tiger took the money, the merger would have happened quicker, probably. And Tiger's like, I'm still keeping the money. Still mine. It's probably true. But I thought I would bring that up, Brad, since we were talking about the manufacturer and stuff. It's like, well, here's something. And by the way, it's newsworthy. It's right now in the news. But how come we don't have any cards in 2022? As far as I'm aware, they still have a license. As far as I'm aware, so I'm like, and by the way, no announcements or anything. It's not like it's a delayed product. Is there a PGA product in the horizon, Brad? Like, I'm not aware of one.
No, I'm not sure either.
I just feel like that's a weird missed opportunity because it's like, well, it's newsworthy now. You could at least, Brad, how into it would you be if we had a subset, PGA versus Live, and just like a chronicle of the battle, and like disappointed Rory McIlroy? That'd be an amazing card.
Well, I just think that I'll stick with Rory, and he was like, Live is done.
I want the card, Brad. That's a great card. We need that card. We all need disappointed Rory. I still hate Live. Quote on the bottom of the card. Come on, Brad. We want it. UD exclusive. It'd be amazing. Everyone would love it. I don't know. Okay, let me ask one more question.
What do you guys think about? Did you?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you guys hear about Upper Deck suing that company for that new Disney game?
Oh, the Locana thing. I did hear about it. I don't know. I haven't read into it. What can you say?
Ironically, Luke texted me 2 hours later asking me how to find cases of the Lorcana. I was like, I wonder if he's seen this report yet.
No, actually, I haven't.
I guess the lead developer of Lorcana, Ryan Miller, was developing a game for Upper Deck that hadn't been released yet, and then just like one day came into the office and quit. And then went and worked for Ravensburger. And then they released the rules of Lorcana like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And Upper Deck is like, those are literally the exact same rules as the ones that you made for this game that we haven't released yet. And they're still going forward with the game. So it could get ugly. I don't know. It's hard to say how it's going to turn out. But
so you're saying Palace Intrigue in the Magic Kingdom? Shocking.
Shocking.
All right, one kind of fun topic. So let me read Tom's question, and then I'll give a quick fun topic for us to close out on. So Tom here says, supplies question. Where would you suggest buying supplies at the case level? Like 40 top loader pack cases or higher. So if you get in a bulk, I would think like a distributor. Where else could you get it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go to your local hobby shop. If you're in the Maritimes, go to AMG, KD Collectibles. Do you guys sell case supplies? You guys do, right?
Oh, yeah, I do. I just don't ever list them on the website, but I have so much. I do.
Yeah. So 100%. Just go either to your local shop, wherever you're located, and they'll be happy to cut you a deal.
So Kevin, I need a case of the old school lucite holders, the big thick ones, but I need them already engraved with cheese string on the bottom,
Yeah,
just in preparation. Just
Got it.
engraved.
Got it.
Engraved.
Those lucite holders aren't cheap.
Well, dude, it's for the cheese.
I'd just like to point out, Brad shocked me at how expensive those lucite holders actually are.
Of course they are.
So.
Just in raw material.
I never knew.
An entire factory was burned to the ground to make space for the lucite holders. It's rough. All right,
that's like 3 cases of top loaders per lucite holder.
Probably, yes. I agree with that. All right, so here's kind of a fun question to take us out on, and the chat is welcome to this one as well. I was talking about the PGA thing, and we talked about some of these other ones, but there have been different sports and different categories that have had these cards made over time. Maybe it's something that's already had cards before. I'd be curious let's say sport or pseudo sport. So I'll leave it open ended. If you want to go pickleball, knock yourself out. But what sport or pseudo sport would you like to see cards made from that aren't currently getting cards? Right now, technically, PGA aren't getting cards. That'd be nice. But I'm still a big fan of Prism Bowling. Brad, I still want, in my heart, I still want Prism Bowling. I want my Pete Weber card. I like what Leaf did with it. I appreciate the Leaf, meme quote. I appreciate that. But I want a Pete Weber Prism Gold. Let's go. So again, something that doesn't have cards right now, that could have cards. What would you like to have if you could? I'll go with Prism Bowling. That's my vote. Tom says track and field marathoners. I know off in the distance, somewhere in the distance, Eric is going, cyclocross, the fake sport I made up, cyclocross, bicycling, the bicycles.
I got it.
All right. What do you got, Brad?
I'd go the Olympics. In general, I don't know if that's too broad, maybe that's too broad, but I'd go Olympics in general because it would bring back a lot of memories for a lot of people, especially some really cool.
Literally, as you said the words. I do think it's a bit general, though. I'd like it to be a little more specific. I like the track and field, since track and field can be Olympics. So
yeah, that's where my head goes. Like the track and field, like maybe like swim, if you could combine it. But track and field would be really cool. I mean,
there you go. Average Joe card collector, tops chrome curling. Very, very. It would be a hit in the Scots Tournament Hearts crowd. You could sell it. You could sell it at the Scottish Tournament.
It works better than CFL.
Okay, and Brett, Luke, what doesn't?
You know what? It would only be available at your local NSLC or beer store, or like you couldn't buy curling cards at hobby shops. You just buy them because curling and beer just go together. Right?
I like it. Collector's Catch says, "How's it going? How's it going with you?" I like that. Bobby says, "Chess, a retro Bobby Fischer sign card would be a wicked insert." I like where Bobby's thinking. Look, I said sports and pseudo sports. I'm not forcing you to stick in the lane of sports. I'm giving you a little bit of latitude if you want to get creative. Have a little fun with it. Explore the space. I'm not forcing you into one. I'm not forcing you in a box here, man. You're out of the box. What doesn't exist that you would like to have a card set for? That'd be kind of fun for you.
The XFL.
Well, the XFL, we had a couple of iterations of it.
Ugh.
The triple threads triathlon cards. There you go. Triple threads triathlon. I like where you went with that. Lawn darts. There you go. A local hobby shop in Regina, Saskatchewan has 23 or 2014 CFL. I'm surprised they don't have them all. Probably most of that stuff is that. Look, here's the thing. My buddy's a big CFL fan, and I have ridiculed him for now literally decades. And but I said, it's like, well, I've earned the right. I attended the 100th Grey Cup. I've been to playoff games. I've been to Grey Cups, plural. I've been to all the levels of championship games, and I'm like, I've seen it. I can now say definitively I understand the sport. This kind of sucks. Snooker cards need a Ronnie O'Sullivan rookie. You see, Dave? Now you're thinking. I like it. I don't know if that one. I think that one might be. My Brian Gray somewhere off in the distance is taking your suggestion to heart.
I'll be honest. I only wanted the XFL cards because I want The Rock to sign a card as the owner so that I can get that.
Oh yes, that's right.
Never watched an XFL game in my life.
That would actually be a good angle. Getting a Rock card would be a good chase. Brad would be like, yes, I want to open all the XFLs. It's like, you're trying to get the Rock autograph card, aren't you? Yeah, Tom, that's the reason why I said it's like, I'm leaving that one for OBG. And he'll get flack for it on social media.
I think you don't understand what the XFL is anymore.
It's terrible.
No, it's okay. It's not great.
No, terrible. I'll stick with my terrible.
Listen, I've seen enough. I've seen enough Houston Texan football to know what bad football looks like, and XFL's better than that.
CFL, XFL, blah blah blah.
Brad will not be supporting the Pinball Clemens RPA. Three-legged race world champions. Look at you. I think we're on to something. 6-pack of curling cards with 12 packs of Schooner.
That's awesome.
I think if you combine it with the beer, man, I'm in. I like it already. I'm willing to do case rips of that for science.
Yeah, this is completely off topic, but some guys will get it in the chat, and I don't. Carlos, I think you might. So I'm going to say 6 or 7 years ago, everyone's talking about the craft beer boom and everything in Nova Scotia, and how the craft beer all across Canada, all across North America, craft. And people are like, oh, it's everywhere now. They're selling. Yeah. So the market share in Nova Scotia, all the craft beer put together, sold through the NSLCs, through privately, through craft, was, I'm going to say it had a 3% market share. Good old Schooner, which most people don't even know what it is, but a Labatt product that's made. Schooner had a 4% market share. So Schooner outsold all the craft beer put together. It's amazing these big brands, how much power they have in the beer business, but that's completely off topic. But Schooner just brought back that memory.
Yep. There are cards for some of the esports. I don't remember who makes them, but there are some esports cards for some of that stuff. Specifically, I don't remember which one, but there's definitely been some attempts at it.
Call of Duty and Overwatch definitely have them.
Overwatch, yes, I remember that one. The Overwatch for sure. So there's definitely been, for some of those games that are popular, there's definitely been a lot of that. Here's Bo, Series 2. Look at you.
You know what? I'd like to see?
Go ahead, Luke.
North American, you got to eat here. And pictures of shops, of food. That would be my dream. I think that, and then there in the back it'd have what do you call that? Like a review of the shop.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
You're lobbying to personally consult on this set, is what you're saying? You want to be product manager for this one, Luke?
I would definitely do it.
He goes, we're doing it. Let's go. It's like, I got ideas, guys. And all of a sudden Luke shows up and he's got, I got ideas. And all of a sudden, boom, he's got an entire board and presentation. And like, that's really high quality stuff. It's like, oh, I got these printed out of vinyl and everything. I got mock-ups. Yep. Now you're talking. Yep. They had that. There you go. Mac and cheese rookie card, menu cutouts, food stain patch cards.
Absolutely.
I don't know. People get excited. Every time on the Friday stream, every time the food topics come up, the people get excited. Not gonna lie, this is a fact.
What was that cookie thing that you guys talking about?
Which one? Sorry.
The cookie company or whatever from
Crumble
Friday night.
Yeah,
Crumble.
Potential future sponsor, Crumble.
Exactly.
Hey, listen. Now that we know they got it in Canada, we're getting close. I was like, wait, they got them in Canada? Interesting. Go on. All right, fair enough. There you go. All right, folks. So, pleasure hanging out and chatting with you as always. Good times. Had a lot of fun with it. We'll leave the manufacturers to take some of those ideas to heart. Minus Luke, who's going to be personally pitching his idea. So he's building the bulletin boards in his mind as we speak right now. It'll be a full presentation. It'll be exciting. We need a box for the show tomorrow. That's true. I might have to get Eric on that one. That'll be what comes up next. Otherwise, though, a pleasure chatting with you all. We'll see what comes here in the coming week and coming weeks to come. On your way out, if you can hit the like button, that is always appreciated. It does help us support the show. Feel free to leave comments in the bottom section. And I promise, it is a commitment. I know that some people were concerned about volume levels, so I promise to be louder in future episodes. So I'll do that to help. I don't want to be hard to hear, because it would be problematic if I was hard to hear. And I want to make sure you hear me, every last word, as I enunciate, in clear volume. So we'll have that. Good evening, James. Good evening, everybody else. Have yourselves a good one. Enjoy the rest of your week. If you are watching the Stanley Cup Final, my condolences. Hopefully I've distracted you from that for a little while. But other than that, we'll be back next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll catch you in the next one.